So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ray, who is going to talk about something that we're going to see more and more of on the roads and in other places, electric vehicles. And I'll let Ray talk about that. We probably all have had some experience at it. As it turns out, guess who owns an EV? So I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Tesla.
Okay.
And thank you very much for.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
May I get a volunteer to make sure I'm in the frame with the thing?
You are?
Okay, thank you. So happy Valentine's Day. And you know me. I'm a pharmacist by profession. And also I'm the president of Renew Now. So from the name we can see that we emphasize on renewable energies and adoption of electric vehicles, adoption of solar panel. We also do planting trees. So I believe that we have one world. So anywhere in this world we plant trees, we all will get the benefit. So right now we have some projects in Bangladesh, and we were talking with Jeff how we can also do some planting here. But today I will only talk about the electric vehicles. I know we have a lot of concerns, and most of those are very much, I would say, legit concerns. So I printed 20 of these, so I will pass it if you can pass it. So I printed both pages so to save papers and my cartridge.
Say the truth.
True. So today I will not talk about the environmental aspect of electric vehicle. I'll just focus on the real monetary thing and how practical is this to drive electric car. So our first concern is price. So we all think that electric vehicles are very, very expensive, which is true. There are expensive vehicles. We also some that are affordable. So on the list, if you see, it says price. Number one, I mentioned Nissan Leaf. So we all know Nissan is a good brand. Been in this country for a long time. So Nissan Leaf, the price is $29,000 and some change. And we know that United States, we have from 2023, we have a electric vehicle tax rebate, which is $7,500. So if you buy a car, and of course there are some conditions. The first one, your income, if you're a single filer, your income should not be more than $150,000. So I think for a lot of us, I can tell for myself, I don't make over $150,000 for sure. If you're a joint filer, it's $300,000. So there's the income cap. And there's also a cap for what kind of vehicle you're getting. If it's a four-door sedan, I think the cap is $55,000. It has to be less than $55,000. And if this is a truck or SUV, the cap is, I believe, $80,000. So Nissan Leaf is $29,000, and after tax rebate, we see it's only $21,635. I would say is very much affordable for a lot of us. Next car is a US car, which is Chevy Bolt EUV. They called it EUV, electric utility vehicle. That will be priced at $27,000, and after rebate is only $20,000. It's a good size car. It's not full size SUV, but they call it EUV. Then for people who needs truck because of their lifestyle or their profession, we have a Ford Pro Lightning, and it has a range of 230 miles. So when we buy electric car, range is also important. So that Ford truck, the price before the tax rebate is $55,000, and then after tax is $48,000. Then we also have another American startup Rivian, beautiful, beautiful car. So they are focusing on outdoor activities. You know, people like camping, people like skiing, people like all those things. They're trying to go for that market segment. And they have beautiful high-end car. Of course, it is expensive. That one is $73,000 before tax, and after tax could be $65,000 tax rebate. So then people who loves Cadillac, we have Cadillac here, and this list is not the full list. If you go to the IRS website, you can find that which car is eligible for that, because there's some condition. This car has to be made in USA. It has to be assembled in USA. Then from March, they are finalizing that battery. The battery has to be made in USA. That battery component, you know, lithium and other things that goes inside the battery, it also has to be from our, I would say, I don't know the real term, friendly countries, maybe from Canada, from Mexico, things like that. So they are finalizing those types. So after this thing, rebate with these incentives, we are seeing lots of foreign companies. They are jumping in, investing heavily in this country to assemble or make car here and also the battery. So of course we can see when we do this, it's gonna create lots of jobs. And you know, I hear sometimes people say, okay, electric vehicle can only survive with tax subsidy. But the truth is, our gas that we buy, we all know that every year, billions and billions and trillions of dollars we subsidize this gas from the manufacturer to consumer. Our gas, our coal, our what we call natural gas, all these are subsidized. So compared to those, these are not big money allocated for electric subsidy. So we talked about the pricing. Next thing is range anxiety. It's real. This range anxiety is real. So we think that, okay, if it's my only car, primary vehicle, how I'm gonna go to Disney if I have to go to Disney with kids? So different price, different range. So Nissan Leaf will go 210 miles with full charge. And then Chevy Bolt will go 275 miles, and then Ford 230. So that range anxiety is real. So if it's only 230 or 210 miles, and Disney is maybe 250 miles from here, right? It's not possible. So this range anxiety is real, but I would say that I have a car, electric car, and you know, I'm not here to talk about Tesla, I'm here to talk about all different brands. So with my Tesla, it is 310 miles. I have a range. So easily I can go to Disney, and then they have parking space for electric vehicle. I can charge it for 8 hours, and then I come back, it's charged fully. They have a specific place for electric vehicles in Disney and all major places. So now we know that 98% commute is less than 50 miles. So if I have a Nissan Leaf, which is 210 miles, I'll be less than 50 miles a day. So it could be my secondary vehicle for daily commute, for school, grocery, all those things. And American average driving is 12,000 miles per year, and which comes to 32 miles a day. So that range anxiety, I think, is real, but with some planning, we can actually do it. So then, to prove my point, I bought another electric car for my wife. She hated me for 1.5 years when I ordered it. I had to wait 1.5 years, and then everybody was telling that I'm crazy. And my wife was saying that, why cannot I buy a car of my choice? Why I have to get this one? Then I did not say a word for 1.5 years. After 1 month of getting that car, Now she loves that car and she loves me, of course. So yeah, I kept my mouth shut for 1.5 years on this issue. Not on everything, on this issue. So now we talked about the range anxiety. Next one is charging. Okay, so we can go up to Disney with one single charge. What if I want to go to Atlanta or North Carolina? So I have done those trips from here to Atlanta to North Carolina, and without any hiccups, it was a great experience. So in my house, I charge my car every night or whenever it's needed. So 80% of charging of us will be done in your garage. Only those other 20% when you are on the road for a long drive, you would need a charger. So my car will be charged 30 miles per hour rate, which is 7 kilowatt. So I'm sleeping for 8 hours, so in 6 hours my car will be fully charged because I'm not bringing it down to zero. So I usually try to charge it when I have 100 miles left. So if I charge it for 6 hours, I get 300 miles in it. So when I'm going long distance, then I need a charger on the road. So when I say my charger charges 30 miles per hour, but Tesla and other third-party charger, they have level 2 charger, which is very fast, from 150 kilowatt to 300 kilowatt. I know it's hard to imagine what is kilowatt. My home charger is 7 kilowatt. Jeff has one in his, yeah, that is 7 to 8 kilowatt, which is slow charger, which is good, and it is free. I cannot complain about being slow when it is free. On the road, that will charge 1,000 miles per hour rate. You can imagine. In my home, only 30 miles per hour. On the road, I get 1,000 miles per hour, but it is like pouring water on a smaller container. In the beginning, it's fast. Then when it's coming to the end, it gets slow, right? When we are pouring something, we don't pour as fast. So same thing with this charging. At the end, it becomes 200 miles per hour. So my point is, with my 310 mile range Tesla, and there is other car like Lucid. Lucid is another startup. They have a car, Lucid Grand Touring, 515 miles range. But that's out of my budget. So anyway, so with the 310 miles, if I want to drive 600 miles a day, I don't want to drive more than 600 miles a day. You know, I'm not in a hurry to get somewhere. I want to spend the night at a hotel or someplace and then drive next day if I have to. So you can see with a 300 miles range and 600 mile driving, only I have to spend 40 minutes at the supercharger, which will be charging 1,000 miles per hour, right? So 40 minutes, and I know for a fact, if I'm gonna drive for 10 hours, I need to eat my lunch somewhere. And I have done it so many times that the moment I'm done, you know, using the restroom and then ordering my food and sitting down, I get a text from my car that your car has 5 minutes left. So it gives me 5 minutes to get back to my car. And I will say Tesla so many times is one of the cars that you know, I have more experience. It will charge you $1 per minute if you do not move your car from the charger after it is done, which is smart because I'm on Turnpike and I'm way to Miami coming from somewhere. If I see some car is plugged in but it's already charged, they're occupying that space, then I'm stuck. So when I'm telling you that 40 minutes to drive 600 miles, that's not gonna happen because there's other cars. So that's why they do it. So I get a text and first 5 minutes is free. After you are charged for first 5 minutes, if you come and unplug it, they will not charge you. After 5 minutes, they will charge you those 5 minutes and more. So anyway, so now we can see that there is a good charging infrastructure. And also, another thing we know that when it comes to charging, we have so many gas stations in this country, right? So I believe my number could be wrong. We have 113,000 plugs or charger compared to 445,000 gas stations. So now we have a plan to put 500,000 chargers on the road. Again, when we need 445,000 gas stations, we really need it. But when we talk about charging, 80% of the charging will be happen in your garage. We don't need that many chargers, really. But to get rid of this range anxiety, that's why we have a plan to put 500,000 chargers by 2030. It's not gonna happen overnight. We have 2030 goal. So that's charging. So next point is performance. So we used to think that, okay, electric cars are just like golf carts. You know, they're slow, they cannot go far, all those things. Which was a concern before, but not anymore. Not to pick on anybody, Porsche 911, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Porsche or Porsche, how do you say it?
Porsche. You also gotta change the 911 to 911, just saying. So,
Okay, I really don't know. So, okay, so Porsche 911? 911, okay. Turbo will go 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, which is really, really fast, right? That car, I could be wrong, is $182,000. Okay. So now there is a Tesla Model S. I don't have it. I have a Model 3, which is the cheapest version. So Tesla Model S Plaid, 0 to 60 is 1.99 seconds. So 2.7 second, $182,000. Now this is 1.99 seconds, 0 to 60, $114,000. So almost half the price, not quite double the performance, but performance is there. So also when we talk about electric vehicle, we say, okay, what's gonna happen if the battery dies? It's a very real concern. So we have I think we mandated in this country that if you are selling an electric vehicle, you have to give 8 years or 100,000 miles warranty on the battery. Not on the whole car, not everything, just the battery, 8 years or 100,000 miles. So, and then if we have to replace it, I believe if we buy a car today, by the time it's 8 years or 10 years from today, battery cost went down already from here to almost here in last 10 years. So like we buy a TV, I'm paying today $3,000 and then 2 years or some later it's $50. So this electronics price will go down and battery price is going down. And also there is a mineral in battery which is cobalt. So we have lots of concern about that, how this is mined in African countries, how child labor is being used. But the good news is now they're making batteries without cobalt. There is no cobalt in it. It's a mixed, you can get different batteries. There's a battery called LFP, lithium phosphate, LFP, I don't know, something, I missed something. Lithium, F is for actually ferrous, lithium iron phosphate. So anyway, it has no cobalt in it. So we're getting there. So as long as we keep researching, I think we can solve so many concerns and things we have. So another concern is recycling, that when we talk about the environment, what you gonna do with all those batteries? It's really a good concern because we always don't dump our AAA batteries or AA batteries the way we should, right? But since this car batteries is so huge, you cannot just dump it in the thing. So you have to take it to your thing, dealer or wherever you take it, they repurpose these batteries. Because when we need instant juice from this car to drive and to give that performance, stationary battery in your home for backup, like if you have solar panel or even without solar panel, in California and some states they use the battery only because they have different time of use rate for electricity. So if during the daytime your rate is 70 cents per kilowatt hour, I made that up. It's not 70 cents, I'm just making it up. So at nighttime it could be 12 cents. So people buy those batteries, they charge the battery during the nighttime when the rate is low, and they run their air conditioner and everything from these batteries. So it's smart. During the nighttime, charge it. During the daytime, run your whole house. So these batteries will be recycled for stationary battery, for commercial or residential use, and we already have few plants to actually, these batteries will be gone through some shredder, and it's gonna take everything, like shred everything, and they will again obtain those lithium or cobalt or whatever it is from there. Redwood Materials, I mentioned it here. Redwood Materials, they started 4 or 5 years ago. They just got a loan. It's not a grant or anything. Loan for $2 billion to have this recycling battery plant in Nevada. So that's the recycling part, and then what I have, electric grid. I hear a lot, okay, if all those cars are electric, our grid cannot take the load, which could be true, and the reality is, according to, I don't know his name, let me see if I can find his name.
Lindsey Buckley.
Lindsey Buckley, a spokesperson for California Energy Commission, by 2030, more than 5 million EVs will be on the road, according to their research, and they think it will have only 5% extra load on the grid. So now from my experience, I have 2 electric cars, one for me, one for my wife, and then I see my electric bill went up only 10%. But your situation could be different. My wife works from home, so her car is all day long there. So I work only 7 miles from my thing. So again, it will be only 5%, according to the research, 5% extra load. So now I have solar panel in my house, so I'm adding 90% to the grid. So if I'm adding 90%, I'm taking only 10% from the grid. So I am net positive. So, and then I also mentioned maybe here that, our electric bill, 50% is from AC. Am I right? I made that up. So if 50% is AC, it would be laughable to say that, okay, we should not buy any more AC because it's gonna damage the grid. It cannot take that load. We need that comfort. So once we keep buying this electric thing, and then they will be adding more electricity because they want to make money. And when we are in the Sunshine State, I don't see why we shouldn't put solar panels. I have warranty for 20 years. Anyway, that's the discussion for another day. I don't want to go there. So my point is, I'm adding, so I cannot break the grid. Okay, so charging, electric grid. Okay, so I will finish my thing with a fun fact. There is a 1,000,000-mile Tesla. There's a guy in Germany, I don't dare to say his name right, Hans-Georg Geminsen. That's the German name of Germany. He had a Tesla Model S from 2014, and he drove it for 1,000,000 miles. He drove it through China, through all those Bolshevik countries and Europe, everywhere. From 2014 to 2022, only how many years? Whatever, so 1 million miles. He had to change his first battery at 770,000 miles. So now 770,000 miles first battery change, and he changed his electric motor 6 or 7 times. So we know that this car can last longer time. There is so many 400, 500,000 mile cars in California that's used for longer commute. So many. So I know that you were asking me about the Super Bowl, right? I didn't watch Super Bowl, but was there any ad about autonomous electric vehicle? You didn't watch it.
I didn't see
I don't recall.
When the commercials come on like that, I go for a beer.
They pay.
I don't think so. I don't recall it.
No, there was. I know for a fact.
Okay.
I know for a fact. I didn't watch it,
I didn't
but
pay attention. I don't recall.
but they pay so much money for those ads, and you go for a beer outside.
Yeah.
Come on. So there's a guy.
I didn't go outside. I went to
He's from Dawn Project, Dawn, D-A-W-N. So he paid $600,000 to put an ad showing how autonomous driving can kill somebody. So since you guys nobody watched it, I don't have to defend it. I think he has different agenda. He owns a software company. He's in the business of trying to make self-driving or thing. So he was picking on Tesla. What he showed is totally false. Because I have a self-driving car, and whenever I use it, 98% of the time it works as intended, and 2% of the time it can make some serious mistake. That's why they tell me that anything goes wrong, I'm responsible. They're not saying it's self-driving. So I'll not talk about it since nobody watched it. So any question?
What did you
But
hit
I
for
do
the
have a
2%?
What?
What did you run into for the 2%?
The 2% it make mistake? Yeah, say for example I'm going from Okeechobee and I told my destination is my home, and on the Okeechobee it should go right, and sometimes it doesn't go to the right lane on time.
Now you drive into a canal.
So anyway, but I think if we are not on the road, there will be some obstacle, there will be so many things, but once we are on the road, there will be always a detour. We can find the detour, but we have to be on the road.
Althea had a question.
I do have a question, because one of the common things you hear is about the battery fires, right? That occur primarily with Tesla. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it, but I'm sure if we have a firefighter or somebody, I think there is 30,000 to 35,000 fires every year from any combustion engine or any car type. So out of 35,000, how many stories we see on the media? Not that many. So if there is a high impact, if that battery leaked or something, there will be a fire. Just like your gasoline car, if there's a high impact accident, there will be a fire. And sometimes you'll see that, okay, there was a fire in the garage and there was an electric vehicle. So with or without electric vehicle, we have all this fire department to put out all those fires, right? It happens for whatever reason. That's why we have a fire department. So I think all those concerns are overblown, and people have their own agenda, why they want to, put it in the news media all the time. So, yes.
So the car we drive today, you can have a fire without an impact. You're just driving down the street and you have something malfunction and you have a fire. I just see one on the road. So your cars, the cars we drive today, you are not. I'm not gonna say you're not safe, but you're not out of the loop. Something happened and then you have a fire. It could be gas, it could be electric, anything.
Exactly.
So most of our vehicles that we drive, you can have a fire anytime.
Yeah, exactly. There was some fires in some BMW models in South Korea. I don't know if anybody knows it. It was catching fire for no reason. Some BMW 8-10 years ago in South Korea, they shipped some car. It was getting fire for no reason. But anyway, so this fire concern is legit, but it's overblown, I would say.
I have two questions for you. In Florida, what is the situation with the charging stations? How many are they? Like in California, they have, huge ones. How are we in Florida as far as charging stations go?
Yeah, I would say one thing about when it comes to charging, that we had a dilemma called chicken or egg, which one is first, right? So now, most these manufacturers, they said we are good at making cars and third party will make gas stations. Very good. So Tesla saw this problem coming. So that's why they put their own chargers all over the world. They have 40,000 chargers all over the world. And in California more, because in total United States, if we have 6% electric vehicle right now, in California they might have 18%, close to 20%. So that's why they have more chargers over there. But most of the time when I'm charging on the road, it's almost empty. Out of 20 charger, maybe 2, 3, or 4 is being used.
One second
Mike?
question. Is there a universal charger? So say I have a Nissan or something like that, can I use the same charger, or do you have to have a specific charger per car?
No, there is a universal charging standard called CCS. So that's universal, but Tesla has their own. Tesla in the beginning, 2008 or 10, Tesla was begging all other manufacturers, please, let's team up and put some chargers together. They're saying, we don't sell electric vehicle, we are not interested. So now that's why Tesla, you cannot plug in your Nissan to a Tesla charger. But since our administration will spend so much billions of dollars on 500,000 charger, and Tesla want part of that money, they will open their charger to everybody. It could be in 6 months, it could be in 1 year, I don't know.
We got lots of questions, but we've got a little time, so let me ask Mike and then Tony, and then we're gonna have to.
All right. You haven't mentioned the electric motor that runs the car.
Yes,
You talk about your German friend who had to replace it 6 to 7 times.
yes.
That motor costs $700 to $1,000 to replace that electric motor in that car.
Okay,
Okay, so there's a whole lot of expenses that we're not talking about. We're talking about truckers who make their living running these big semis. You know what? It's not gonna work for those guys. Farmers, I grew up on a big farm. You get that tractor going, you gotta get those crops in, you're working 24 hours a day, those tractors are running. We can't do that with electric vehicles.
So far.
You know what? It's not gonna happen. Those batteries, it's not gonna work in some cases, folks. And
No, of
not
course,
only
of
that,
course.
our electric grid in this nation is outdated. The whole electric grid, it can go down, boom, California's having rolling blackouts. Where are you gonna charge your car during that? It says, don't charge your cars.
And how are you getting food?
Yeah, and see, these are some of the things, and I understand, electric vehicles are nice. If you're not making a living with that vehicle. When you got that vehicle and you need that vehicle and you have to move.
I think we'll have some question answers soon, because Ford Lightning, right? It's a truck, it's for people, commercial people. That's their focus market is. Rivian is for people in the recreation industry. Ford is focused for professionals. So we'll have some answers from them.
Our electric grid can go down because they're constantly hacking the computer programs that run all our electric grids. You know what? We can go down like that. What are we gonna do?
I think
Are our tanks gonna run?
if your electric grid is down, then I guess gas station doesn't work either.
So that's true. Tony, real quick. and then
One
we-
quick question.
we Gotta get on with it.
Okay, just one quick question. How much does it cost to charge your car,
Okay,
from empty
me-
to full?
Maybe $6. $6 electricity to charge, 300 miles.
That's all I wanted to
And
know.
that's one of the basic arguments in favor of
That's all I wanted
EV.
to know.
So just real quick, there's a question, Dr. B, about the state and the number of charging stations. For the last 5 years, that's been an issue at state level. State of Florida is very proactive in that regard, they really are. The only time that they have pulled back is when they tried to require that any new gas station also had to have charging stations there. And they kind of drew the line there and say, no, we're not going there. You can call it special interest or whatever. Bottom line is, everything else is very proactive. More and more stations along the way, especially on main thoroughfares, turnpikes,
yeah.
interstates, all that kind of stuff. Florida is really, really pushing hard. They're also pushing hard for the autonomous vehicles, AVs. Those are not necessarily EV, they tend to be, but those are two different things. So when you use those terms, it could be powered by gas as well. The one other thing I'll mention is, you know how we collect our main revenue source for road repairs at state level? Gas tax. That's a big challenge. Nobody wants to touch that. Third rail politics, guaranteed, national level, hasn't been changed in 50 years. Florida hasn't changed it in 60 years. Nobody wants to touch that. That's a big challenge from an economic point of view. Like Mike was saying, you gotta take all these things into consideration, and it needs to head out to something that makes sense. So it's a good challenge. We wanna thank Ray very much for the information. And now, let us do our happy dollars.
It's happy dollar time. Okay.
Turn off, Ray.
This is great, thank you. Interesting, and thank you very much for the